Everybody, I'd like to welcome to the September 2nd regular city council meeting. First up is call to order. Please turn off your cell phones or silence them if you would, please. Next up is flag salute. Council White. Council White.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, next up will be roll call.
Silent roll call has been taken and a quorum is present.
Thank you. Next up, the approval for the minutes for the August 4th, 2025 regular council meeting minutes. May I have a motion?
Move to approve the minutes.
Zach, may I have a second?
Second.
Charlene? All those in favor? So moved. Next up is petitions, communications, and citizens' requests. If anybody would like to step up and address the council, please feel free to step up to the podium, state your name, and we'd be happy to hear from you.
Is this the only time for public comment, or if there's something later on the agenda we want to comment on, should we wait?
It's AI based.
What's that?
I said I'm assuming people are talking about AI.
Yeah, I mean, we're happy to take your comments now, but if you want to address it later on, you probably will have a few minutes to do that as well. Okay? Nobody else? All right, next up. Reports, Council President. I don't have anything at this time. Standing committees, Administrative, Economic, Financial, Public Services. No.
AI.
Oh, sorry, underneath. It wasn't highlighted, I missed it.
All right.
AI discussion or update. EJ, please.
Good evening, EJ Roach, Economic and Community Development. I feel like there's a lot of people staring me right in the back of the head.
You might be right.
Yeah. Wish we'd see this type of crowd during the comprehensive plan meetings. We'd really get some great discussion. Wanted to provide some information. I'm sure folks are asking questions since they saw the article in the local paper last week titled "Old Town Plans to Track Residents and Visitors with AI." This headline and article are very misleading. Old Town is not tracking anyone or anything. We are partnering with other communities in the greater Bangor region to access data that is already being collected with your permission and will continue to be collected whether we subscribe to Placer AI or not. The communities we are partnering with are Bangor, downtown Bangor, and Brewer. Placer AI, the name of the company, Placer AI, aggregates location data from a representative panel of mobile devices and uses machine learning to create accurate and anonymized statistical foot traffic reports. The Downtown Old Town Committee has been looking at Placer AI since the summer of 2022. We had some product demos in the spring of 2023, but decided not to move forward due to cost. I believe at the time the cost was in excess of $17,000 or $18,000 per year. With our involvement in the past year with the Greater Bangor Recreation Economy for Rural Communities Group, we have several of the members here tonight if you have questions for them. This is part of a larger regional group that Old Town, Orono, Bangor Brewer, multiple communities in the Bangor region are working together to promote tourism in the region. More access to the river, more access to trails. We're working together to bring more visitors to the area. Since we've partnered with that group, we have an opportunity to cost share a subscription for Placer AI for $5,000. This money was approved by the LLC at their annual meeting and included in their annual project allocation budget for economic development. I want to stress again that Old Town is not tracking residents or visitors with artificial intelligence. We are simply going to have access to anonymous foot traffic data and information that has been collected with permission and has no personally identifiable information. I will explain further how Placer AI takes additional steps to aggregate this data. I will read some specific frequently asked questions from Placer AI. This was helpful in helping us understand the data a little bit more, what's collected, what's not. What location data is collected by Placer AI for its partners? Placer doesn't collect location data directly from customers, but receives location data from our mobile application partners who are collecting location data from millions of mobile devices. In all of our agreements with partners they represent, they are in full compliance with all privacy laws and regulations. The data we receive is already stripped of identifiers such as mobile ad IDs. In fact, the data fields we receive from our partners do not include any personal identifying fields. This prevents our partners from even accidentally sending us personal identifiers. In addition to technical controls, we use representation warranties and covenants in our contracts to ensure partners comply with applicable privacy laws and policies. We also monitor the location data partners send us to ensure it is stripped of identifiers such as MAIDs, names, and phone numbers. How is user consent obtained? Placer requires its partners to comply with all applicable policy laws and regulations. Partners are required to get opt-in or opt-out consent in accordance with applicable law. Consumers may opt out or revoke their consent at any time using the OS settings on their phone. What data is stored on Placer's servers? Placer stores data from our partners, including foot traffic information and auxiliary supporting data such as Bluetooth and Wi-Fi beacons, battery, and network. The data we received is stripped of identifiers. You may hear this over and over. The data is stripped of identifiers such as mobile ad IDs, names, and phone numbers. The data is protected with end-to-end encryption in transit and at rest using a centralized key management system with rotating keys. Employee access is restricted based on job responsibilities such as compliance, monitoring, and customer support. Do you work with data from minors? No, we prohibit our partners from sharing data that is associated with individuals known to be under the age of 18. How does Placer treat sensitive locations? Customers use Placer to make better decisions about physical locations, and accordingly, we only offer statistically extrapolated data about locations. Yet in order to avoid misconceptions may be the word of the week, misconceptions and mitigate any potential concerns, Placer has adopted a policy that restricts customers from generating reports for certain locations. In line with this policy, we do not knowingly sell or share data about places such as military facilities, places of worship, pre-K through 12 schools, rehabilitation centers, or women's health facilities. What techniques does Placer use to protect individual privacy? We invest heavily in building privacy mechanisms directly into our platform, including a differential privacy service to remove individual identifiers from the data we receive from our partners already on our partners' premises, even before it enters our system. Customers are only given aggregated statistical information about brick and mortar locations and never any data tied to specific individuals. We also use end-to-end encryption to protect data in transit and at rest, centralized key management, etc. Additionally, individual dots, heat maps, and journey origins on our dashboard, this is information that we would see, is obfuscated such that any bit of information presented preserves K anonymity of 50, meaning that every dot on the map is always an approximate location. It does not include the actual location of one particular device. Before I stood up here, I counted the number of people in this room, and I think we were about 40. I don't know if 10 other people have snuck in since I started. But for example, if we were to look on Placer AI 2 to 3 days from now, because there's a delay in when they post the information, this meeting, 6 p.m. on Tuesday, September 2nd, there would be no heat map, no dot on City Hall for this meeting. There's not enough phones in the room to count and be tracked, collected, counted, etc. Unless there's 10 people that have an additional cell phone in their pocket. These days, some people may do that. They carry 2 phones. It needs to be 50 individual phones to be counted. So that adds another layer of anonymity. What can businesses and municipalities learn about specific individuals from Placer, from the information Placer provides through its platform? I'll ask that again. What can businesses and municipalities learn about specific individuals from the information Placer provides through this platform? Nothing. The data we share and sell with our customers doesn't include identifying information about specific individuals. Customers are only given aggregated statistical information about brick-and-mortar locations, such that any bit of information presented preserves the k-anonymity of 50. That means that every dot on the map, whether representing a residential area or the end of a road segment, is always on an approximate location, does not indicate the actual location of any particular device. Can Placer AI be used to advertise to identify specific individuals? No. Placer AI's product was designed to ensure customer privacy by not gathering PII like MAIDS and only provides aggregate data. Note, as I mentioned before, Placer data is not available to 2 to 3 days after it is collected. So it's not real time and it's not live. Why is this data information, or why is this data important or useful to the City of Old Town? Leveraging foot traffic analytics for municipal economic development. This is part of the reason why we thought this product was valuable, something that the downtown group needed, something that will allow us to sort of document and track some of the programs and plans we're implementing. We can do some benchmarking data. Municipalities and local government leaders can use location intelligence to attract businesses, optimize their community services, boost tourism, and improve revenue management and forecasting. What is foot traffic analytics for municipalities? Foot traffic data, sometimes called location analytic or footfall data, analyzes the movement of people from place to place. It includes microdata such as visitor counts and big picture data like demographic shifts within populations. Information can be gathered from various sources, but the most common is mobile location data. Foot traffic analytics can enhance municipal operations by revealing the strengths and weaknesses of an area, highlighting what economic opportunities lie untapped, and providing detailed insights into a demographic. Foot traffic data can provide in-depth insights into which municipal strategies are likely to succeed and aid decision-making processes. Cities can use foot traffic data to identify unmet retail needs, to show businesses why they should consider opening stores in the area. Ways we leverage location analytics for municipal economic development. Gain deep community knowledge. Until recently, traffic and visitor counts provided the main bulk of foot traffic data. Traffic and visitor counts provided the main bulk of the foot traffic data available. While those tools can provide useful insight into a population, they can only provide so much information. Mobile location technology has advanced in recent years, making it easier to understand population segments than ever before. And though the phrase foot traffic data has often been associated with the retail segment, local governments can harness location data to gain a deeper understanding of their demographics. Where are visitors coming from? Before location analytics became widespread, officials often relied on self-reported information to gain insight into where visitors to a given destination were coming from. Today, movement patterns in and around designated points of interest, POIs, can be mapped out with ease with Placer AI's True Trade Area analysis. True Trade Area provides a clear, mobile-powered visualization of the zip codes or census blocks, feeding visits to a specific area, allowing professionals to accurately measure and analyze visitor behavior in the regions. As an example, a community center could analyze TTA data to discover where visitors come from and how frequently they visit, to more effectively plan and advertise events, like Riverfest. In addition, visitation metrics, similar venues could be compared with one another to provide a zoomed-out view of different sites and their trade area profiles. What characterizes the people that live and work in the region? What are their interests and preferences? All important information into comprehensive planning. Effective municipal planning takes into account the demographics in a given area and looks to understand relevant segments. Analyzing trade areas with demographics and psychographic data sets can shed light on unique characteristics of a given community and of the people who tend to visit it. The Placer Marketplace offers a wide range of data sets that show the characteristics and preferences of a given area, which can be leveraged in many ways. These are some examples from other cities. For example, the follow graph by spatial data set on Placer's Marketplace identified an above average interest in certain high-end luxury brands for trade area of downtown Atlanta. with the ability to filter between many different retail segments and compare them to a nationwide benchmark. Municipal planners can encourage the opening of businesses that cater to the broader preferences of the workers in the area. Is there population drift? If so, where? Every city will see population constantly shifting and changing. People find new jobs and move away. The office opens in the area and brings an influx of new workers, or cost of living changes make a move necessary. These shifts may leave municipal workers unsure as to which communities services need to be offered. The COVID-19 pandemic accelerated certain migration trends. Some cities saw fairly noticeable population jumps, while others saw declines. These shifts can be identified across various metrics using foot traffic data. The migration tools on the Placer AI platform provide a way to track migration trends to every state, city, or zip code and see where people are moving across the U.S. This information allows local leaders to identify if a region is gaining popularity or losing its population and learn about associated demographic changes. Another benefit, attract best fit retailers and employers. Local governments will prioritize attracting retailers to their region through incentives and grants, as a robust retail foundation fuels the local economy and creates jobs. Local shopping areas can meet the surrounding community's needs by curating a right mix of retailers, which is crucial for boosting foot traffic and supporting local businesses. City planners can use mobile location data to discover business opportunities and serve an area better, as seen in the example of Atlanta's office district. City officials using location intelligence can identify the types of business that are likely to bring a wider range of visitors to these areas and use this information to promote their region, such businesses or plan strategic incentive programs. Another aspect of city planning centers around uncovering retail gaps. Retail leakage, I've used this term before, I believe in some presentations before. Retail leakage, or losing out on potential sales, occurs where there are insufficient retail resources in a city, causing would-be consumers to take their shopping outside of the city. Municipal planners who identify these leaks find retail investments to patch them up need a thorough understanding of both local consumers and markets. The Placer Marketplace has a variety of data sets such as STI, PopStats, AGS Retail, Potential Gap that can identify areas with unfilled consumer demand. These tools draw on a multitude of data points to pinpoint retail opportunities. Factors such as population growth, forecasts, and consumer expenditures within and outside different retail areas are used in tandem with Placer AI data to create retail forecasts. Smaller or peripheral cities, we'd be categorized as one of those cities, can sometimes struggle to attract national retailers and can use the void analysis report to identify best fit retailers and demonstrate the role they can fill within the existing market. A void analysis report determines where a retail gap exists within a shopping center or geographical area and can show what retailer would be the best fit for that community surrounding the center. The data sets available on Placer AI platform can help accurately demonstrate the available business opportunities and potential with the numbers to back it up. Boost travel and tourism. This is a big focus of our Greater Bangor Rural Economy Group. Tourism drives economic growth, not just the tourist sites themselves, but to surrounding businesses such as restaurants, hotels, and shops. Local leaders can create jobs and promote initiatives that attract more tourists, a net benefit for any city. Location data is crucial in this process, helping municipalities identify untapped tourism and travel opportunities to ignite visitors' interest in a region. For example, location interest might show that a site is attracting visitors from areas with higher than average shares of families with children. In that case, city officials might prioritize child-friendly infrastructure when allocating budgets. Request a ready-to-use trip origination by Marketplace using Placer AI service to analyze multi-day or overnight tourism. Identify areas in need of development. Most cities have attractions with unmet potential. I've showed this group, I think publicly a couple times, the map of all the land in Old Town owned by the University of Maine. They own 25% of Old Town. That area is lacking development. We could use this service to kind of help understand what best potential developments might go in those areas. Municipalities can tap into location data to analyze low-performance areas, uncovering the demographics and psychographic characteristics of regions, feeding visitors to the area to understand what draws these visitors to the site and more effectively target the more willing audiences. Location intelligent tools can also help city planners and other local officials decide where to focus redevelopment efforts or upgrades. Aside from identifying where visitors are coming from, these tools will also help compare visits across different time periods, to track any changes in overall foot traffic, dwell time, or visitor frequency. Measure performance and demonstrate success. Many stakeholders are involved in actualizing successful city projects, from federal grant offices to municipal officials. And these stakeholders want to invest their resources in projects that are most likely to succeed. Whether a city undertook a long capital improvement project or initiated a campaign to attract more tourists to a local site, location data can be instrumental in highlighting the impact of efforts and in measuring success. Stakeholders can be kept abreast of projects' progress utilizing metrics such as visitation numbers or visit duration available on Placer AI's platform. Comparing metrics before and after a project kickoff can demonstrate the impact of a given initiative, for example, by indicating changes in visitation not only to a specific area or venue, but to a nearby business. These metrics can also highlight whether the composition of visitors, residents, and employees has shifted, how dwell times have changed, and if previously unmatched audiences are moving, and if previously unreached audiences are moving into the area. Amplify the reach of public events. Other significant sources of revenue come from public events, state fairs, theme festivals, sporting events, Riverfest, Fire and Ice, those types of events. Events can drive additional revenue to a given area and bring publicly that piques the interest of these outside the community, further increasing year-round tourism. Accurately measuring the impact of such events can be challenging, as often measured across many metrics. Analyzing where visitors come from, how long they stayed, in which other businesses they visited after the event can show the true ripple effect of tourism. This information can help city officials plan marketing efforts for future events. Additionally, city councilors can show these data-driven success stories to stakeholders such as event sponsors, advertisers, donors, and local organizations. Location data can provide a wealth of information. Location data can provide a wealth of information to cities looking to make data-driven decisions. Municipalities can use the information to learn about their city's demographics, understand movement in and out of the city, or even look at details as small as visitation trends to a local shopping center. All of this information provided by Placer AI, but this is information that we feel is valuable. And hopefully after some of those facts and the reasons we're doing it, probably would lead you to believe there might have been a better title for that article.
So I've got a few questions too, but let's do council questions first, and if there's anybody in the audience that would have any additional questions, we're happy to address those as well. You said the cost is $5,000. That's a shared cost.
That's our portion of the cost.
That's our portion
Yep.
of it. Is it per year? Is there a contract term?
I haven't seen we haven't signed a contract yet. We're heading in that direction.
Heading in that direction.
Yeah.
Okay.
Still, would it be per year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Privacy. People can opt out if they don't want to. Do they have to do it through their cell phone? Because these are some of the questions I'm getting from city members.
Yeah. We only get what people allow to be collected.
Okay. Okay.
It's not Old Town specific. This data is being collected whether or not we buy in or not. So anybody can buy. Anybody who subscribes to Placer will have access to the data across the country. You can pick any point in the country and find out information.
Okay. So I Google Placer AI because you get alerts and people have concerns and stuff too. I want to know, are there any cons about Placer AI that you don't like?
Not that I can think of. They were in one of their demos, and they fixed it on their kind of algorithm. They were, to be honest, they were overestimating some of the events, some of the test events that we gave them, because we had a known quantity, and they were overestimating it. A lot of times and this was back in 2022. So my sense is some of the algorithms and the work they've done sort of on their end has changed. In rural communities, Sometimes if a place isn't indexed or you haven't created a point of interest, the data, some of their algorithms are they overestimate. So,
Zach?
but they solved they were able to arrive at a better accurate data. So,
Thank you, EJ. And thanks everyone for being here, first of all. It's great to see such a good turnout. I'm against data brokerage. I have a personal, moral opposition to it. Not just from myself, but I mean, throughout the weekend, I've heard an overwhelming opposition from the citizens in the city. If my efforts are not successful and this goes forward, citizens just wish to be notified about the buying and selling of their sensitive info. I know that it's happening, whether that we take part in it or not. But regardless, people don't want to be tracked and studied. People have suggested they're going to use location hiding devices on their phones. Does Old Town need Placer AI to track this foot traffic at that scale? My belief is that the people coming in and out of the city, it's none of our business whether or not we know that. And according to reports, Placer AI, does it track the income? And you said it tracks demographic shifts in characteristics and population. So while it doesn't include individually specific information about people, is it really that private?
yeah, it aggregates it all based on census tracts, big communities,
To a per capita level, you mean, for a location?
per census tract. It pulls in census data that is also readily available. So it adds all of this information to provide the report that is, once again, not directly connected to one individual person.
I'm just not sure. I'm not sure how I feel about signing a contract with a foreign-founded AI foot traffic company that it does location trafficking internationally, all across the globe. Claims online in forums from their customers have said that their data is not always accurate. And in 2022, they were federally questioned by Senator Warren, among other lawmakers, for unconscionable practices in 2022. That's the reason that they now are not allowed to disclose whether or not people go to women's health centers, because they were doing it at that point. Other data brokers, not Placer AI, but people who have toyed around with this, data brokers have been warned in the past by the Federal Trade Commission for misusing sensitive data. It happened in 2022. It's happened before with the FTC with other companies. And the data is already being bought and sold. You consent to it through an 800-page TOS to use your cell phone that you are manipulated. You're not going to read the whole thing, obviously. And they're in compliance with very, very loose federal data regulation that I believe is unethical. So just because it's happening, I don't think that Old Town has to take part in it, but that's just my opinion on it.
You all good? Go ahead,
Oh.
Linda.
Might as well just go
I-
around the
My
room,
question
other
is,
table.
it says, we're not even a dot because we don't even have 50 people here. I mean, when you're out walking and doing those things, I don't understand how they're gonna be able to gather our information because we're not big enough. I don't even see Bangor in some of those places in Brewer. And, I just can't see where it is going to help us.
Mm.
And and I won't sit here and say it doesn't make me nervous
Yep.
either with A1. Yeah.
Well, the small number, if you are pulling data for a 8-hour day or a 4-hour period, you reach the 50 relatively quickly. With some of our samples, they were able to show Riverfest was picking up
Right.
those events
Well, that would make sense.
at the micro level, which we don't want to have tracked.
We
Is
know
yeah.
Riverfest, we know the people
We
that's out there.
we don't know a lot about Riverfest.
We know a lot.
We know the number of people, but we often we're inaccurate about where people are coming from and where they spend their money after. Yeah.
Carol?
Well, I acknowledge that data tracking is happening all the time, and it's doing all our phones. I just don't think, Old Town doesn't even compare to Bangor Brewer, and I don't think that Old Town's really big enough to make use of this, even if we did it, and I don't think the value of it meets the concern that the people have. And perception is reality, and I just don't think it's worth it to us at this point where we are.
David?
I guess I'd like to ask, you said there's some people from Bangor who are here.
Yeah.
What the benefit has been for them, if they wouldn't mind
Sure,
telling
if you guys are willing to.
Hi, my name is Lisa Sturgeon. I'm the steering committee chair for the Greater Bangor Recreation Economy for Rural Communities. I don't speak on behalf of a municipality. I speak on behalf of the steering committee. The City of Brewer had been using Placer AI for a number of years prior to us creating the RERC group. And have seen great success with the growth of their economic development, mostly attracting new businesses. And for them, we were able to save them $15,000 by being able to do a cost share agreement because they charge municipalities a different rate than they charge nonprofits. So as being a nonprofit, we were able to go from what they were paying $20,000 to $5,000 to be able to access that data. Again, much like what EJ was saying, they are not mining the data. It is data that has already been collected. And honestly, saving the time of the municipality of purchasing individual reports and aggregating those reports individually on a much smaller level. So to your point, Council President, there's nothing to opt out through Placer AI. You would have to opt out through your cell phone agreement of ask and do not to track, all of those individual things. Because like EJ said, it's being tracked anywhere. They're just pulling that data to create those reports. There's other municipalities in the state, Caribou, for example, you talk about size, Caribou's using it. Or has used it in the past. I'm not sure if they're up to date on that contract. But again, looking to attract business, looking to attract new residents, they're using that data to understand where people are coming from so municipalities can make smarter, more cost-saving decisions as opposed to trying to guess what is the right approach and spending money to find that answer.
So you said Brew has been, it has worked for them in the past from an economic standpoint. Can you give me an example of what using the data has brought them economic development?
I cannot speak on behalf of them specifically. I do know that if you were to reach out to them directly, they would be willing to talk to you.
Okay. Charlene?
Yes, so I'm very familiar with how powerful data can be. As a matter of fact, I think that with the data we've already collected through the comprehensive survey process is a lot of information that we haven't even tapped into yet. I think there's two layers of concern. The first concern is the data is already being collected. So we don't have control over that. And if you do opt out on your cell phone to have your data not be tracked, it's going to impact every application you have. This isn't application-specific opt-out from what I understand. So I guess from my perspective, this data is going to be visible, whether or not we subscribe or not. We're paying to access data that's already been collected in a dashboard that's useful. So that's the scary part. The data is already being collected, whether or not we choose to use it or not. That's the first layer. The second layer is if we do use it, then it impacts people's perception of trust and privacy. And I certainly, as an economic development proponent, definitely see data as a very important piece to helping us understand where we should be making investments, what decisions we should be making, what types of businesses, what type of tourism assets, et cetera. So my concern with this company is the aftermarket and who else is getting access to our data. So I would be reluctant to subscribe to any data collector that is then going to take our data and then monetize it for other purposes or other uses. And I think that's what you found in your research, because I also looked that up. And it was women's health rights, that they were able to deduce exactly the traffic, which played into a bigger issue. So whatever we do, I would like to see us, number one, have complete transparency with our community, what it is and what it isn't, how you can protect yourself. It sounds like we can't do that anyway because it's already being collected. But secondly, if we were to get into this, we have to do, I think, some really good vetting. There are other companies out there, SafeGraph, Precisely, Unicast, Near.co, Matzot.ai. There's a whole bunch of them out there. So which one should we use that we feel has the most protection of the data of our community? And so I don't think there's any guarantees with Placer AI that they are not going to take this data and sell it to somebody else or monetize the data that is really rightfully ours. So that's what concerns me. So I just think that what we need to do is find the right balance between what is needed, because data certainly does support grant development, attracting businesses. I agree with all of those things, and we do need economic development in Old Town. Being data informed is even better, but we can't do it at the expense of our community not having trust and not having transparency. And I think we need to really vet them to make sure that we know where this data is going afterwards.
Katie?
Yes. I guess I just have a couple. I love everything people have been saying, so I'm not going to say that again. But so am I right in thinking that, say, the coffee shops open up the 2 next door, that if they can look at an 8-hour period as opposed to like a single instance of time to get that 50 people? Okay. And then I would love to see samples, and I would love to talk to Brewer and Caribou if that's possible.
Agreed.
May I say one
Sure.
more thing? To Councilor Vigilio's point about data and tracking, I 100% agree where you are. Placer has kind of been the industry standard when you're talking about destination marketing organizations using or DMOs utilizing data. We have a cohort working with an ad agency that we've recently worked with through RERC, and Placer is who the majority of their partners have used. So we did go through that discussion process. I'm honestly more concerned about how Meta is accessing my data, posting to social media. That scares me more than how Placer is being used from that process, just so you know.
Thank you, Lisa. Happy to take any other comments, concerns. You want to step up, go to... It should be on.
Okay, great. My name's Hannah Cyrus. I'm not a resident of Old Town, but I do work as a reference librarian at a local public library, serving patrons from Old Town among other communities. I just wanted to share a little bit my interest. My job is in technology instruction, and I have a strong interest in patron privacy. So I've learned a lot about data brokers over the years, and just to kind of help both the public here and maybe some of the counselors get a better understanding of how these systems work, right? Placer is a type of company that we would call a data broker. They operate by turning people's personal information into profit for themselves. Placer in particular, the way they work is they pay other companies to embed their trackers within their apps. And the consent that we've been talking about is when those apps that are unrelated to Placer, that people would have no reason to assume are selling their data unless they know about data brokers, ask for your location, right? So they'll say, hey, do you want to share your location with this app? Ostensibly to recommend, businesses that are nearby to you, or find the closest location of the store or whatever. And I work with people every day who really struggle with understanding how to use their phones, who have low digital literacy. So the idea that people can just opt out by going into their phone settings and rescinding those location permissions or turning location tracking off for their entire phone, while I recommend that people do that, and I teach people how to do that on a one-on-one basis, it's putting a lot of effort on the part of the user to try to avoid this kind of surveillance that not everybody is able to figure out how to do on their own. So the apps ask for your location. Placer, because of these business arrangements they have with these other apps, extracts that data. Yes, they do anonymize it by removing those advertising IDs, those personally identifying information, but it's very hard to fully anonymize, especially smaller data sets, which is why they do that, 50 device limit. But, the data is still stored on their servers. It's aggregated and then presented in aggregate to their customers. But that individual data is still stored. And per their own privacy policy, that data is a business asset for them. So to the question of what might happen with that data down the road, if they change their privacy policy, if they go bankrupt or are acquired by another company, that data, our data, is an asset that they can do whatever they want with. And that's what happened like with 23andMe recently, right? All that DNA data got purchased. So, I have several problems with this model. One is actual consent is buried in those lengthy terms of service that no one actually reads. Figuring out how to opt out if you even know that this is happening is very difficult for individuals to do. And the digital literacy piece of it is just like trying to do damage control for this kind of thing. Teaching people on an individual basis is kind of a drop in the bucket compared to a city going in on a contract to actually spend public money on supporting this mass surveillance infrastructure. So personally, I'm very opposed to this use of public funding. I understand that the data is being collected, whether we're buying it or not, but buying into the system is condoning the system, and it's further enriching the people that are making their money off of this data, right? It's easy for me to decide not to use Facebook if I'm upset with the way Meta is managing my data, but it's hard for people to decide not to bring their phone into Old Town if they don't want to be tracked this way. And Meta's also not like being supported by public funding. So I do have some information, librarian, about data brokers generally, not about Placer. So if anyone is interested in that, I'm happy to pass it around.
I'll take one, please.
Yeah, I think you pass them down. Hannah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We appreciate that. I did see, it was a hand up and back, so right up, so. Yep.
Hello, my name is Wesley Kalpala. My family has been from Old Town for generations, and I'm a small business owner myself, and I just bought my first home here. And I'd like to go back to more of a base level of this whole issue here. And Old Town has been relatively economically stagnant for quite a while. We haven't seen a whole lot of growth. There's not much to bring people here for the service industry, because if they want that, they can go to Bangor, they can go to Brewer, they can go to the Waterfront District, they can go to any number of places. We're a more rural area with zoning that allows us to have potential for more manufacturing, construction companies, that kind of thing. And there's very little resources for that here. And I guess my question is, instead of going through what people feel are sneaky channels or back channels and collecting their data in a way that's hard for them to opt out, why aren't we instead spending these funds and this time to get together small business owners or people that own businesses and own property in Old Town, sitting them down in this room instead and asking them directly, how can we help you? How can we help you succeed? What can we do? How can we allocate these funds to do pointed research with data that's collected from people that actually want to do business here? So that would be my question.
We do.
We appreciate it. Thank you, Wesley. We do appreciate it. And thank you for buying the house. It's good to see
Thank
new
you,
people in
yeah.
town. So I did see, yeah, okay. I saw another hand up.
Hey, Council. My name is Monique Bouchard. Many of you are familiar with me. I'm a lifetime Old Town resident, have a house on 4th Street, been here a long time. And I also work in tourism, and I work for downtown Bangor. I have also seen demos of Placer AI, and I have wished very desperately that we at downtown Bangor had the budget to go ahead and purchase it that day. The RERC gives us, as well as the City of Bangor and Brewer, who we also somewhat envy, because we are not a city organization. We are a small nonprofit organization that serves downtown Bangor. That's data that we see Brewer using to do things like invest in their waterfront, their beautiful waterfront, bringing more people, more businesses. I think there was a little snippet about potentially an old building turning into a boutique hotel that was in the newspaper. So those economic opportunities are things that do come as a result of data insight. So I'm going to try to largely ignore this very inaccurate and highly misrepresentative story that the Bangor Daily News released with a really effective and incendiary headline that I think is designed to sow discord and make people more afraid of this technology than is warranted. So I definitely empathize with the difficulty it is to opt out of some of these services. As a marketer, long before my phone started telling people where I was, I would often look at data and say, whew, they know an awful lot about me. And that was before. Now, they certainly do. They being data brokers and also, frankly, us. It is good to know that information, especially if we're not linking it to specific individuals. Although, I would also agree, it's great to be able to ask business owners, what do you think that you want? Unfortunately, sometimes the things that business owners don't know about their environment can prevent them from asking those questions properly, right? Like what I don't know about my community can hinder my ability to ask the right question. Do I realize that the age shift has changed by 5 years? Do I realize that the fact that there's a highly successful restaurant that a lot of college students come to in my area, how has that changed the ability for maybe a different store to come in across the street? This information was used prior to being like municipalities and tourism related, was primarily used by real estate brokers who were trying to get folks to take care of the empty shoe store building that might have been in their downtown. This is also commonly used by a lot of the Main Street communities, of which Old Town is now an affiliate. So across the country, there are Main Street communities who are also using Placer AI. Now, there are a lot of different companies. Absolutely. And you could certainly go through with a fine-tooth comb and say, you know, we don't feel good about this specific one. We feel better about this specific one. The things that I will say are that contracts are a year. If at the end of the year, the data doesn't seem to be valuable, or you feel that the service isn't warranted or worthwhile, or you don't have good feelings about Placer AI, there's a perfect opportunity to say, thanks, no thanks. In fact, there are other communities who use services like Placer AI on a 1-year basis and then say, thanks, no thanks, until 3 or 4 years come by and they think maybe there's a reason or a population shift to re-up that subscription and pay into it again to learn what they don't know about their community and how it has changed. So I think that that question becomes, you know, how can we use this data? And I see nothing but potential benefit of knowing. I know we know exactly how many people are at Riverfest because someone can stand on a building maybe and count them with a ticker every day, just like they used to at church in the back to make sure how many people were there. But what about Wings and Wheels on the waterfront? The money that is spent on this, that is municipal dollars. Every time somebody advertises anything on Facebook, that's also municipal dollars that wind up being added. And frankly, anytime our businesses downtown are spending money on advertising, wouldn't it be really nice to be able to have a good sense that when you give your money to Riverfest because you want it to succeed and you want our community to have more visitors, it would be really nice to know, oh, Riverfest is really growing. We're not just getting people from Old Town, we're getting people from Orono, Bucksport, who knows? I'll tell you, in downtown Bangor, the 3 largest groups of people who visit our website, and this is data I can see every day, are from New York and Boston and Bangor. So when people come and want to know what's happening in downtown Bangor, the 3 largest groups, roughly equal as a matter of fact, are Bangor folks, New York folks, and Boston folks. So when the time comes for me to spend my precious advertising dollars to figure out who I want, who's gonna come here, I'm going to spend it in Boston and New York because I know that those are the people who are already showing an interest in this community. How much better would it be for me to be able to take the meager funds that I'm entrusted with by my community and be able to really use them to their best benefit to get the people who are going to have the best experiences in Old Town, who are going to love the river, who may decide that they love it so much that they buy a house in Old Town, that they decide to stay, that they open a business. This is the potential of economic growth that I do see this data potentially uncovering for us, those kinds of pathways. And that's not stuff that, I mean, there are definitely stats. You can read about Main Street organizations who are getting grants as a result of having the data that says this grant will make a serious difference. We know who's coming. We know who's been here. We know who we need. We know who's missing. I would love to see, as a citizen and taxpayer of the city of Old Town, us not look backwards, but please look forward. Even if it's just for 1 year, this is a great opportunity to use a very, very expensive piece of software in a way that will benefit not just our city, but also other places in the greater Bangor region when it comes to having learnings about tourism, about people movement, about economic development potential. And if you hate it, at the end of the year, don't re-up the contract. It's really not that complicated to me as a taxpayer. And frankly, if I have $5,000, I'd hand it over to EJ right now. And I'd say, just buy it, because what is there is, I believe, firmly worthwhile. I've seen the dashboards. It's helpful and it's good. And I would love us to be able to leverage that for the benefit of our entire community. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else in the audience like to step up? So it's very evident there's a lot of concern out here, EJ. Listen to the group, listen to people, the phone calls, the emails that we're getting amongst this. But I don't think it hurts to check with a brewer, check with Caribou, like Council Wynn had talked about, just to see what benefit is. I agree, data. I work in data every day. It's good stuff. But there's a lot of privacy issues out there. There's a lot of people that are very concerned. And as a councilman, I need to listen to my constituents and what they say. So, and I think that's what everybody's hearing too.
Yep.
So I don't think we say nay immediately. We do need some more data. But just understand, the citizens are very concerned about this.
Yep. And I'll just remind the group, the downtown group that meets monthly, has been supporting this, and the Old Town Development LLC, which is a group of business leaders across the region, have been talking about this for a number of years and have supported it. So that 2 out of 3 are good, and obviously we will work hard to gain support of the third leg of the stool.
I think you need to look at other organizations too, as was suggested, that there's more organizations that can do this, that might be, yeah, literally, the confidentiality piece. So I just check into other organizations as well, just to see, okay, so what's the difference? Is it the same, or, as Zach did, going online and finding what the particulars are and stuff. Yeah, I want that background check.
Okay.
Are there any data brokers at all that will delete the data after the year if you opt out? No, okay.
Go ahead.
That's why it's a 2-layer issue. They have our data whether we want it or not.
Hi, I wanted to introduce myself. I'm Courtney Nguyen, and I work with EJ and Lisa as the staff person on the Greater Bangor Recreation Economy for Rural Communities, which is a steering committee that really works to, what we found is to kind of combine the communities in the Greater Bangor Brewer metropolitan area, which we now collectively brand as the GBR, the Greater Bangor region, to work together on the things EJ and Lisa mentioned around visitor and resident retraction, solving issues like out-migration, preventing brain drain, preventing people from coming here to get educated and then leave. I'm sorry. You don't know how rare that is for someone to tell me to speak up. So please be careful what you ask for. And also work together on things like improving access to the river, as they said, connectivity through river and trails, and then building collaborative partnerships such as GearShare libraries, which you may have seen. The main GearShare network made a big announcement last week. I wanted to speak about some of the concerns around interviewing other organizations, and just to kind of allay those fears that this was kind of chosen at random. That was not the case. So just as municipalities go through a comprehensive, the CEDS process, comprehensive economic development planning process, this community, this steering committee also went through a strategic planning process, and out of that came the community action plan that EJ has right in front of him, which I'd be happy to show you. I also have cards for all of you. And in that, we have regular steering committee meetings, and we actually have an upcoming stakeholder meeting on September 30th, which I would love for you all to attend and get involved in this work. And through that collaborative planning process, through the steering committee, they talked, what services have you used in the past? What works for you? Also, through my work, I work with the International Economic Development Council on a fellowship basis that's able to kind of fund my position, that allows me to be hosted to do work through the Greater Bangor Recreation Economy for Rural Communities. And I can tell you that Placer AI would be the industry standard. We see this at conferences doing demos, and it's honestly on a wish list for many organizations and municipalities. I wish to say that I really wish I could see this. I'll give you an example. When you buy a car, what's the first thing you want to see? The Carfax report. That's a data broker. There may be other websites out there that offer services like that. I don't know them. I mean, you know, there are other search engines beside Google. Maybe they still exist. I don't know them. That has become kind of the industry standard. And the same way that a person may ask, hey, I'd really like to see the Carfax report. When you get into kind of the nuts and bolts of economic development, we're talking about site selection. Do businesses want to come here? Does someone want to hold a road race here for bikes or some kind of paddle race? Just like a consumer would say, well, let me see your Carfax report to see if this car is as good as you say it is. What they're going to ask is, let me see those data insights. Let me see your Placer AI data to see if you can back up. Can you really bring this many people to downtown to have this event? So, you know, the other analogy I would say is, you know, whether you subscribe to Netflix or not, those shows are going to be on the platform. Whether you subscribe to this, or whether you take part in this or not, those insights are going to be there, but it is really valuable for site selection and attraction of businesses and events, the same way you as a consumer, you know, would want to look at the Carfax or even look at Credit Karma that scrapes your data directly from TransUnion and Experian to better inform you. So, informative tool, not a privacy invading tool. Though I do agree that economic development is always an and/or approach. We're not just scraping data. You know, you also want to go out into community, meet with business owners, and say, how can we help you on the ground? Combining that with, here's what the data shows us and how we work together. So, would love to have y'all more tapped into the GBRARC as you have capacity in your positions. Thank you.
Thank you, Courtney. Oh, go ahead, Russ.
My name is Russ Sauson. I live at 653 Kirkland Road. I'm one of the head IT guys at the tech school in Bangor, UTC. And when I saw that initial article, I was a little bit concerned, and I've got to say, the number of you counselors have brought up some concerns that I think are very valid. I have two questions. They're pretty simple. The first one is, what message are we sending if we buy into privacy harvesting as a city, using taxpayer money, even though it's $5,000? And my second question is, if this policy or if this software is so good, why aren't the businesses coming together to buy in on it?
All right. Thank you, Russ. Great. Did you want to say, hold on?
Question.
Okay. 1 second before that. Charlene.
I just wanted to ask a clarifying question. You raised a good point. The $5,000 that would be funded for this through the LLC, is that funded by taxpayer dollars?
It's TIF revenue, tax increment financing dollars.
So it's not in the city's budget then?
Correct.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify that.
Right. Yeah.
Thank you.
I am Jason Smart. I just had a couple questions because we're talking about data and collecting data. One of the things I wanted to know, since I moved back here in 2020, since we've been collecting this data, what about the data of businesses coming and going from Old Town? How many, do you have the data that shows how many businesses have left Old Town versus how many have come in? I think that should be your number one question. So if you're looking at all this data, why are we looking at this data? We want more, right? We want extra tax revenue. I know I just got my tax bill today, and it was an 18% difference from last year, not for the good. So I'm just kind of curious. I mean, if we have all this data, why do we need to get more data if we're sliding in a bad direction? I'm just kind of curious about all the businesses. If I saw one of the garages down here was my longtime mechanic for ages, he retired, and another business moved in. Well, that business may have been out in Elton, and now it's going to be sliding downtown. Is that counting to a new business coming in, or is that an already business that was established based out of Old Town, serving Old Town? Is it a new business?
I would call that a neutral, net neutral. You lost one, but you added one.
Okay. So in the last 5 years, do you have the data of how many business have come?
We can pull that. We've lost some large employer, down the road, ND Paper. That was a big loss.
Yeah, I know.
But we've added 17 small businesses in downtown. So we're tracking those types of data.
Are you tracking the data on how long those businesses survive in Old Town? Because I know as a single family income, I can't afford to eat down a canoe. And I see these things like this, and this is the age group this is affecting. My age group, I'll be 39 this month, and I look at it. I was told my wife when I got the tax bill, I said, how long are we going to be able to live here? It keeps going up. It's not going down, and we're getting no reprieve. And I'm interested, and everyone brought up a lot of really good points about data harvesting. One of my good friends, his roommate worked at Snapchat. Every one of those pictures is stored on a server. So what about a data breach? Do we have insurance that's going to cover that? I know it's mapping and it's on the program, and I think it's great if it works for other people, but is it going to work for Old Town? Because I'm not seeing a lot that's been working for Old Town in the last 5 years, because it seems like we're sliding in a difficult direction. And just kind of a couple points that I wanted to bring up. Thanks.
Thank you, Jason. Oh. Go ahead.
Sorry, I won't take much time. One question I do have is, EJ talked about 17 new small businesses. If we're looking for real economic growth for the city, I think it's much more of a quality over a quantity argument. And I know a couple other individuals talked about looking to Bangor and looking to Brewer for examples. What type of growth have Bangor and Brewer have? Do they have strong manufacturing? Do they have ND Paper? Do they have Lemforder? Do they have Nile Systems expanding there, building new facilities, I'm a mechanical engineer by trade. Kids that graduate in STEM or technical fields flee the state because there's little to no work here. Is it beneficial to Old Town to get 15 more, an ice cream shop or something small, sole proprietorship, or do we want to look and say, hey, we need to look to towns that are economically successful, that are bringing long-term gain, not a clothing shop here, but manufacturing companies that hire people with all breadths of knowledge and training and stay. And I think we should be asking the question, Old Town Canoe has been in Old Town for how many years now? Why are they leasing and buying buildings in Milford for storage and warehouse space when we have an airport industrial park that's not fully developed yet? How can we bring and grow long-term, large-scale business here? Because 2 or 3 major players, or even one major player like ND, makes a whole heck of a lot more difference than a lot of small businesses that's somebody's pipe dream, which they're more than welcome to try. But we don't want to be targeting our efforts at a flash-in-the-pan, short-term endeavor. Thank you.
Thank you, Wes.
We're doing both. We're attracting both from both ends of the spectrum. Attracting and supporting the small business ecosystem in downtown. And we're working very diligently. The Old Town Development LLC, that group is working through some plans and projects to bring investment that brings large-scale manufacturing to our 160 acres that we own down across from Penny Road. We're creating the industrial infrastructure. We have it, but once again, sometimes it's tough to attract. The companies say, show me the numbers of people in your downtown, show me the people, show me your school, show me all the data, and we're providing it to it. We are on a list that the state reaches out to on a regular basis. We put in RFPs all the time. Here's our data, here's our infrastructure, here's what incentives we offer. These are large companies, often overseas, looking to locate in Old Town. We are a player in the game, but it's up to the company where they choose.
And they want the data to back it up.
They want the data to back it up, and sometimes we don't have enough people living in town because we don't have enough houses, enough housing. We're tackling that problem as well, adding housing, adding density. Once again, I show the map of the amount of land that the University of Maine and Old Town owns. Prime development for manufacturing facilities on Gilman Falls Avenue, there's 100 acres that we don't own. We are working towards that end where we can add those small manufacturing. We can add all of the above and still maintain attracting our small 17 pipe dreams that we want to support the local business, small business. A small business is identified as anything with 500 or less employees. So we'll have a lot of small businesses in Old Town, and we're trying all ends of the spectrum to try and keep them, retain them, and help them grow.
Okay. Monique.
Just one small data point. Maine has over 160,000 small businesses, which comprise 99% of our business total and employ more than 54% of our workforce. So just to put it in perspective, what small businesses are. So there's a lot. We can put a lot of eggs in some baskets, but over half of our eggs are already in small business baskets. So don't want to denigrate small businesses, especially in an area where that's really critically important to Maine's vitality all the way across the board. Mm-hmm. And I think getting that many in uncertain economic times is pretty impressive.
Yeah. Thank you. Did you have a question, Sean?
I have a comment, but I can hold it.
No, go ahead.
So I think what I'm hearing is the situation is complex. We got here through a discussion on data that's already being collected and what's the best way to access it. But I think some of the larger questions that I'm hearing about comprehensive development, comprehensive economic development, and I did go to my first I've been on council 2 months. I am planning to run again because I really believe that we can do a lot with our town, our city, and I think we have plenty of data that we aren't mining ourselves. And when I saw the data that came in from our last survey, pages and pages and pages of data, and I don't think we spent enough time to give it really the time it was due. And I really think as counselors, we really need to be involved in that comprehensive plan. Because if we don't have a comprehensive strategy, a strategic plan for our LLC, and a vision of where our town, what we want to see in our town, we're going to continue to have these iterative discussions until we can really coalesce around a vision of what we want our town to be. And so I like your idea, and I think that something has to be missing if people are not aware that these meetings are going on where we are asking for people's input so that we can make those right decisions. And then if we have a really good strategy, then we as counselors and with our community's voices can make decisions where we're all moving towards the same direction. But right now, when is that comprehensive plan due? EJ, do you know? The one that we're working on for the state?
When is it due?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't
so
know
I
the
don't. Yeah.
comprehensive plan.
So, but right now we have data, and we need to be looking at it. So I've asked for the data. I'm starting to analyze it, but there's so many different cuts of the data that's needed. I would need a private server just to chug the data, because there's data by ages, by renters, by owner, by age group, how long they've been living in Old Town, all different kinds of data. But we really need to look at what we already have, and I think it's important to understand how this data could be utilized. I'm not saying we shouldn't do it. I just think we have to make decisions in a way that's going to support however we want to see our town move forward. And I'm not sure if we know that. We're a mill town that's no longer a mill town.
Thank you, EJ. Thank you, Lisa. Excuse me, moving on to reports. City councilors, any additional?
I just have a
Oh, go ahead.
question. Where we got the tax bills, is it possible that, like we have done in the past, when we're looking at interest at 7%, could it be something that would be, I mean, I know the payment is due October 2nd, but could we wait till the end of the month to charge the interest to help people who are noticing that taxes have gone up, and just have it go a little further, that they can pay their taxes without having to worry about the interest? Because it is 7%.
I know Danielle's sitting in the
Oh.
sitting in the room, but she's not easy to see back there.
I see her. I should
But,
have been looking at you
we-
at that point, but
If you want, we can do whatever you'd like us to do.
it just seems as though that would give people, if you're not an escrow and everything's automatically paid, that, with another $500, that's what I get to pay more, $500 to come up with that will take a little bit more time. It would be nice that we just didn't have to pay that 7% interest.
The council is welcome to extend it if they'd like.
Does that have to be a motion?
You should do that, so
I
we,
should-
so it's clear.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion to the council that the taxes will not have interest charged until November 2nd.
Second that motion.
All right, so Linda and Carol, any further discussion?
When does it currently start?
October 2nd. If you're a day late, it starts right off.
Yeah.
So if we delay it a little bit, it helps somewhat to not have to pay that 7%.
All right, all those in favor? We extending that? So moved. Did you get that? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, special, oh, go ahead.
I had a question about Riverfest. Do we have a booth there where people could citizens could come talk to us instead of just at this meeting time? Is that a thing we've ever done in the past?
Where'd EJ go? Did he leave?
No, we don't have a booth there right now.
I can say something.
Go ahead.
When I was running for city councilor, I had an input box that got pretty good participation from people. That, from what I saw, the city wasn't doing anything like that down there, but I think that is a flawless idea. I think that we should be having a feedback. If not a box, we should be having a person present.
Well, that's what I was thinking. A person,
taking questions
you
and
can actually have a
concerns.
conversation as opposed to just a forum. I feel like you get better.
I would like that very much.
Have
I will
both.
bring that forward to the next Riverfest meeting.
Okay.
Thank you, Carol.
Power or no power?
We need power? We don't need power.
We don't need power.
No.
Are you going to charge us?
Okay.
Can I get the data from the comprehensive plan too, the granulated data that Charlene has?
It's a
It's a fun
plan
Excel
It's
sheet?
in the planning board.
Yeah.
No, I got the raw data.
Yeah,
Excel.
that's what I want.
Mhm.
Yep. Yep, okay, that's it.
Okay, we're good. Next up, city attorney. Thank you. Special committees. City manager.
In the park, EJ had a perfect segue there. You see the digging that's going on along Main Street. That's an electrical extension, so we'll actually be pretty much powered up everywhere. So you'll see a lot less extension cords in the park now, which is a good thing. So we should be able to cover just about any event we have down there now once that's complete. We're continuing meetings, EJ and I, with Old Town Rotary on the 4th Street Trail and park improvement down there, which is their 100th anniversary project. And we're going to meet with Chris Sear, who does trail work all over the state. We're just going to look at that area and give us some ideas. Traffic lights, again, little difficult on the Bennick Road Stillwater light is flashing. Again, we can't really touch that. Daigle Electric is going to be there to fix that. That's still under warranty through Maine DOT. That should be back hopefully by tomorrow. And the K5 school, Fraser Electric's been there to look at that. They got the parts. They saw the parts they need to order. They were checking to see if they had them in stock to replace them. If they don't, they'll have to order them. So the K5 school light might be blinking for a couple more days.
Okay.
That's it for me.
How long is the warranty for the Stillwater Bennett?
Until the project's completed, so I don't have a good answer for you.
Curious, since we've used it a lot, I think, that warranty.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on. Next up is the consent agenda. The City Council will consider approving a State of Maine on-premises beer, wine, and spirits renewal license for Main Street Bookstore DBA Canoe, located at 283 Main Street. Council Virgilio.
Resolved, the Old Town City Council approves the renewal of a State of Maine beer, wine, and spirits license for Main Street Bookstore doing business as Canoe, located at 283 Main Street.
Second.
Oh, Dave, thank you. Any questions, comments? All those in favor? So moved. We have no public hearings or second readings. Next up is old business. City Council will consider accepting a bid for $7,157.10 for the installation of a two-sided Bryant heat pump. Councilor White.
Resolved, the Old Town City Council approves the bid from Dave's World for $7,157.10, as previously discussed at the last committee meeting. The bid includes install of the dual-sided Bryant heat pump with a full warranty that covers parts, labor cost, and biennial cleaning for 12 years. Funds will come from account 095296064000 to cover the bid cost.
We have a second.
I'll second.
Zach? Questions? Comments? All those in favor? So moved. City Council will consider accepting a bid for $15,190 from Mechanical Services for a new one-year preventative maintenance contract. Councilor McLeod.
Resolved, the Old Town City Council accepts the bid of $15,190 for mechanical services for a new one-year preventive maintenance contract, as previously discussed at the last committee meeting. Funds to come from account number 0133040580 to cover the bid.
And may I have a second?
I'll second.
Carol?
I got a question or two, just for transparency's sake.
Sure.
This covers most, if not all, of the equipment that we use.
Yes.
And the cost of repairs that we've spent in the past on equipment, this is less than the cost to repair that equipment.
Yes, last year's repairs were around 20,000.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay. Any other questions? All right, all those in favor? So moved. Next up, new business. The City Council will consider allowing the Office of Economic and Community Development to grant permission to any downtown business or community organization, i.e. American Legion, Elks Lodge, etc., to host a beer garden on city property within the downtown district. This authorization does not eliminate the requirement to obtain any and all State of Maine and City of Old Town permits and appropriate signatures. The authorization will take effect September 3rd, 2025. It will expire on June 30th, 2026. The City Council may at any time place a motion on the agenda to revoke this authorization. Councilor Virgilio.
Resolved, the Old Town City Council votes to allow the Office of Economic and Community Development to grant permission to any downtown business or community organization, i.e. American Legion, Elks Lodge, etc., to host a beer garden on city property within the downtown district. This authorization does not eliminate the requirement to obtain any and all State of Maine and City of Old Town permits and appropriate signatures. This authorization will take effect September 3rd, 2025, and will expire...
2026, sorry, there's a misprint there.
Oh,
No, sorry, September 3rd, 2025.
25.
Sorry, my apologies.
And will expire June 30th, 2026. The City Council, Count Schill,
Yeah, I know.
may at any time place a motion on the agenda to revoke this authorization.
All right, may I have a second on that?
I'll second.
Yeah. Questions, comments?
I got a couple. You can go first.
Go ahead, Linda.
Why?
Yeah, me too.
EJ Roach, Economic Development. Hopefully this time I'll be up here a little less long than before. This process is actually done by a lot of municipalities. I met with the local liquor enforcer today, and a lot of times the state only requires the municipality and the city or town to know and be aware of the permit. This allows us to work a little bit more nimbly. If a group wants to do an event, you've already granted the permission to work with the downtown group and my office to do approved events. We've done this for a number of years. We've come to you every time. Riverfest has added a beer garden. Fire and Ice has added a beer garden. This summer in the park, we had events with no problems, no issues. The local businesses thought it was a good opportunity. This allows a little bit more streamlined approach. We'll do it with sort of the quality and the safety that we've been doing it up until the point where it stops working, and then you can come back and say, we want you to come here every time.
But the system's working now.
It does, but it would streamline the process even more to allow the groups to pay more attention to, they're seeing a need, they're seeing things going on locally in downtown. They're like, hey, we'd like to add with the Old Town Theater, they're selling out more. They would like the ability to be like, all right, we want to add extend our permit to have sort of a beer garden in the street to allow for more people. Sometimes that doesn't happen well in advance of a city council meeting. We can put it on the agenda every time, and in hopes that if we need it, we'll come. If not, we'll just exit from the agenda. But this process kind of creates a little bit more of a streamline, more boots on the ground, gives the ability of the businesses to do it based on the standards, and the state does this all over. A lot of municipalities, it's the code officer that signs off. They still have to do their permits, still have to follow all the laws and regulations.
No, I understand that.
Yeah.
But
So-
they'd already they'd have that all done, but then we'd still have, I just think we ought to say when they can be there.
It's us to know too. That's, because a lot of times things are happening, the council doesn't even know it's happened. So, anyway.
When it says that the permission is to be granted by the Economic and Community Development Office, are you working alongside other people, or is it just at your discretion?
No, it's got to go through the clerk's office. It's got to go through the downtown Old Town group. They got to be aware of it.
Yeah.
It isn't going to be a surprise and boom, we're going to do it.
Okay. And at the last one, we worked with Dan in the Old Town Theater. How'd that go, and what was the public perception and participation?
It was good. Attendance was low. He's trying to find his niche on sort of where that works best in town.
Yeah.
We think it may work better at this end of town amongst all the other restaurants. Trying to do some live music down here with some beer gardens. So he's feeling it out. Obviously, it was an investment on his part, his cost. We just allowed him to do it. There were no issues, no problems. But we're trying to tweak that a little bit moving forward so that he can do some events. We met with the liquor enforcer today, and he shared with some ideas that other communities are doing that are business friendly, but also community safe. Extending beer gardens out into onto the sidewalk, outdoors, taking advantage of the nice weather, having the different businesses take ownership and doing it themselves. So.
Linda, are you just saying that the formality of accepting it every time the date is?
It took a while because I wouldn't vote on it until the inspections, because they weren't inspecting until after, and we were okaying it.
Not the beer garden.
No, not the beer
I
garden.
know, but it's the same idea, though. If you're going to take, if they need to get all of the information taken in, you get a check to make sure that it's don't you? I mean, don't you have to?
No, we don't inspect beer gardens. It's up to the responsible party, which is whoever files.
Don't you have to check to see if they have the license and stuff that they need to have?
Yeah, make sure, does that
Yeah.
have a license?
So you already have that in
But the
hand.
city doesn't have to sign off on those. I mean, we asked you, is the permission okay? You accepted it, then I go in and accept it online. But the code enforcement officer, they don't have to inspect it. That's up to the state of Maine. Their liquor license enforcer, Alex, I think his name is, Legassi.
Eric Legassi, yep.
He has to be the one to go inspect that.
I don't see.
Go ahead.
I don't see why we don't hamstring EJ or anybody else here. Why don't we just? I mean, what harm would it do? I mean, they're going to be policed and they're going to be patrolled. And I think it would help the people downtown to expand their businesses. I don't think we ought to hold them up.
I think
And if all this does is just take away that formality of us accepting the date and location of it every time it comes up, I mean, we can revoke the authorization if there's an event that we think is done poorly.
And it's trial period, right? It's only.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. If it'll work until it doesn't work, and then we'll yank that and we'll go back to doing it
You'll have to
meeting
come
by.
back anyway, because there's a date on it.
Yeah, yeah. But we'll have some data to say, hey, here's how many times we did it, here's how it worked, here's what people liked, here's what they didn't like.
Because the Elks and the American Legion, they always follow through with everything. They always have.
Do they both want to hold beer gardens right away?
Everybody's kind of heading in that direction.
At
The
same
fall.
time? Could they have them at the same
Yep.
time?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I'm,
As long as they're fenced in, yeah.
but, okay, well, I mean, if we're talking Riverfest, that bothers me a little bit. It does, because.
There won't be one at Riverfest itself. There won't be one in the Riverfest grounds. Pepper's Landing, under this, Pepper's Landing would have the ability to extend their deck a little bit to allow for more patrons. That kind of helps as well. So
But they already have a license and everything.
they already have a license. They've already applied to, in anticipation, one way or the other, to extend their deck, because they end up getting more people during Riverfest and to stand outside and have a bite to eat and a beer.
So we could have more than one in the park during Riverfest?
Not in the park, just Pepper's would extend.
And where would the other two do it?
Main Street Grill would perhaps extend back into the little area over here. It just creates some flexibility.
Has there historically ever been a situation where they have the license and they have all the certifications done and we've turned it down?
I don't think so.
I can't think of one.
I mean, I'd say we just should
Yeah,
give it a
it's
try.
delegated
And
authority.
If something goes poorly, then we'll take it right back in and revoke it.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, so we'll have a vote. All those in favor? All those opposed? All right, it's removed.
It's a good try, though.
It is.
I'll be anxious to see how it turns out.
Okay, next up, the city council will consider approving a new victualler's license for Christine LaHer. Is that how you say it? LaRue, excuse me. I apologize, ma'am. DBA, the Yawa Cafe and Bakery located at 259 Main Street. Council Wiles.
Resolved, the Old Town City Council hereby approves the victualer's license for Christine Leroux, doing business as the Yahweh Cafe and Bakery located at 259 Main Street. City inspections are complete.
May I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, Linda?
Why is this not in the consent agenda and it's on new business?
Because it's new.
This is brand new.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Oh, go ahead.
Is this the bakery, like 2 down from here and something like 50%? Excellent, I was
Do you
not
mind
sure.
if I approach you guys?
No, go ahead.
Is it is the license for like 50%? But my question is about the license.
Bribing the council.
I brought some goodies.
I know.
Hey.
But is this the bakery that, like, technically 50% has to be consumed off-site? Is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I am, so I spoke with DHHS, Holly Salt, the state of Maine, and she said where I am not serving hot food, I'm right on the cusp of, like, I could, like, go on, like, the DHHS license, but I can stay on the Department of Agriculture license, where I started out as a cottage license in my home in Milford. She said I can just stay on the Department of Agriculture license. So she said I'm right on that fine line. But she said I'm fine with staying right on that, right on the Department of Agriculture. She said it's fine. So, but I did. She said one of the requirements were to get my my ServSafe certification, which I already have. I just was granted my ServSafe certification, and I was granted my my kitchen inspection today by the state of Maine.
Congratulations.
So,
Nice.
thank you. Yes, I know that was. But
What are your hours going to be?
my husband and I have been discussing it, and we were going to be opened Wednesday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. Because right now I'm working Mondays at my other job, but I'm going to be. Yeah, I know. This is so Mondays. I'm going to be like phasing out of my other job for now. So this is my last month of my other job, and then I'll be, because I'm like my only person for now, until I can hire someone else so to help me out. But I got some goodies here. So this year was my first year at the Whoopie Pie Festival. I won third place, best. Thank you. Third place, best new baker, and third place, best name Whoopie Pie. But these are my. One of the requirements were to put. What was it? Coffee brandy. Thank you, Jason. See, my husband knows. Coffee brandy and the Whoopie Pies. So there's just a little hint, there's a little kick of coffee brandy and the Whoopie Pies. Not too much. But you guys can take one if you want. Home
Thank
with
you very much. We appreciate it. Welcome.
Thank you for taking the leap to join us in Old Town.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
Of course.
All right, so
Waiting for a bakery.
Yes, I'm going to be doing all natural baked goods. My hope is hopefully next couple months. I received my LLC, so I'm going to be doing an LLC through the state of Maine. I'm hoping in a couple months I can start doing free birthday cakes for foster children in the state of Maine. I have a lead through my daughter's case manager to reach out and to work with someone through the state of Maine to help me start doing that. Hopefully start doing birthday cakes for children in foster care. So.
Thank you.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
So,
And everyone else can help themselves too. That's funny.
okay,
We will.
Yes, thank you.
we'll do a vote. So all those in favor? So moved. Thank you. Next up, the City Council will consider going into executive session for the purpose of discussing economic development matter. Council May.
Hey, well, I got excited about the Whoopie Pies. So resolve, the Old Town City Council hereby approves going into executive session pursuant to Title I MRSA Section 405, subsection 6C, for the purpose of discussing an economic development matter.
I'll second.
All right, Zach? All those in favor? So moved.